Hello everyone, welcome back to Pulejo Travelers. Today we are traveling to Paris, but before we get there, we are going to Fontainebleau.
So we just picked up some crash pads, which is what you fall on when you're bouldering. And we're packing up our shoes and chalk bags, and then we're gonna go boulder.
The National Forest of Fontainebleau is located south of Paris. The forest has many sandstone boulders, and many alpinists have cut their teeth on training on these boulders for mountain climbing since the 19th century. It is one of the most famous and evolved bouldering sites in the world. Fontainebleau has the world's first recorded climbing grades, including the world's first 6A, Maria Rose, and the first 7M. The first guidebook was published in 1945.
Alright, so we just, after bouldering, we went and had some dinner, and then we drove around for a long time, trying to find a place to sleep, and we finally found it, which is near the bouldering for tomorrow, and yeah, we set up a tent, and we're going to bed, so yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.
So we just woke up, and now we're packing up and gonna go bouldering. Then we're gonna get on a train and go to Paris.
It doesn't work.
Just woke up and take a subway to a cool city and probably have some food there and then go to the Louvre. This 8-foot tall statue with its perfect proportions, thrown out wings, and flowing robe dates back to the 2nd century BC. Winged Victory is a statue of Nike or Victory in her Roman form. She is the goddess of triumph. Since 1884, the magnificent winged statue has been standing in the Louvre, granting victory to all who stand in her presence. The Venus de Milo is a 6.5-foot tall statue of Venus, or her Greek form Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. The sculpture was made around 150 BCE. It was carved by an artist named Alexandros who lived in Antioch on the Meander River. In 1820, the statue was found on the Aegean island Melos. This is why it's called Venus de Milo. The figure was given to the King of France, Louis XVIII, who, a year later, in 1821, donated it to the Louvre, where it stands in all its glory to this day.
The Mona Lisa was painted between 1503 and 1506 by Leonardo da Vinci. The painting became the property of the French Republic and has been on display in the Louvre since 1797. It is the most famous painting in the world. On the 21st of August, 1911, a Louvre employee, Vincenzo Perugin, stole the Mona Lisa. He walked into the museum during the time they were open and hid until after they closed. He then walked out with the Mona Lisa under his coat. He believed that this piece of art belonged in an Italian museum. He was caught trying to sell the painting to the Uffizi Gallery in Florence. It was returned to the Louvre on the 4th of January 1914. Vincenzo Perugin served short time in jail and was hailed for his patriotism in Italy. The Mona Lisa, to this day, still casts her smile in the Louvre.
The Eiffel Tower is a main icon of Paris, standing at 3,124 meters. It is an amazing sight. It was built in 1887 to 1889 by an engineer, Gustave Eiffel. In 1887, it was the 100-year anniversary of the French Revolution. Paris wanted to do something spectacular to celebrate. They decided to build a structure, building, or a tower. More than 100 architects sent in ideas. Gustave Eiffel won, and construction for the Eiffel Tower began. After 2 years of building the tower and standing at 1,000 feet, or 304.8 meters, it was the tallest structure in the world for 40 years until the Chrysler Building was built in New York. It was amazing to see this majestic tower that is almost 130 years old. Versailles was built in 1661 to 1682 by King of France Louis XIV. He builds the chateau where Louis XIII had a hunting cabin to show his power and importance. King Louis XIV built the palace to get away from the court, gossip, and the politics of Paris. This display of excessive wealth that leads to the French Revolution. Many of the paintings in Versailles have Louis XIV painted alongside the classical Greek gods. Louis thought of himself like Apollo, the god of the sun. The Hall of Mirrors reminds us of this, as the morning sun comes through the wall lined with windows and reflects on the opposite wall of mirrors, illuminating the ornate hallway. King Louis XIV would walk through the Hall of Mirrors on his way to his private chapel every morning. The war room on one end of the hall is famous for the signing of the Treaty of Versailles, ending World War I. The outside of Versailles has the architecture of Greek-style temples, but the inside is very ornate and fancy. The people of France could not tolerate the inequality of wealth as displayed in the Chateau of Versailles. During King Louis XVI's reign on October 5th, 1789, during a women's march, 7,000 working women stormed the chateau with pitchforks in hand. The French Revolution was underway. Louis XVI was captured and publicly executed at Place de la Révolution. His wife, Marie Antoinette, escaped through a hidden door in her private chambers.
Looking for a chateau, 21 rooms, but one will do. I'm looking for a chateau, 21 rooms, but one will do. I don't wanna buy it, I just wanna rent it for an hour or two.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, make sure to like and subscribe below, and thanks for traveling with us today, and we'll see you next time. Au revoir!
I made an old mistake walking down